In this video, we're going to discuss adding users to DealerAlert. Click on Users on the left-hand menu tab, and you're presented with a list of existing DealerAlert users. To administrate an existing user, you simply click on the username. For demonstration purposes here, we're going to add a new user, and there's a link for that at the top of the page. We're going to make a fictitious parts manager named John Smith, and he is the parts manager for a store called GMK. We'll assign a username to John, call it John S, and we'll say his name is John Smith. By default, all new users are considered self-administrators, meaning that they can add new alerts for themselves and change alerts that they have control over or they're the owner of. But we can also promote them to system administrator, where they'd have full control over all users and all alerts, or demote them to have no administrative permissions at all. Note that if someone has no administrative privileges, they still can receive alerts. The next section is document permissions. Now, inside each alert, you'll notice that there are hyperlinked documents used in the creation of the alert. So, for example, if there was an alert that was sent regarding repair orders, you might note that the repair orders are all underlinked hyperlinks. If you click on one of those repair order numbers, the original repair order will pull up on your screen with just one click. Very handy for reviewing transactions. But in order to participate in that function, the user must have the document permissions for repair orders checked off. Otherwise, they'll be presented with a message saying they don't have permissions to view the document. Now, John is a fictitious parts manager, so he really doesn't need to be looking at cash receipts or checks. But the rest of these, I think, are pretty straightforward. There's no problem with letting him look at any of these other things. Now, we'll assign a password to John because you need a password to do everything, including view documents. If you didn't have a password, you would not be able to view documents or do any type of administration. His PPC is JS. Because he's a parts manager, we'll check off all of these groups. Now, alert groups work like this. Each alert in the system is assigned to one and only one alert group. And in order for the user to receive that alert, he also must belong to that group. So in this case, where John is a parts manager, we certainly want him to belong to all of the parts groups, but we also might want him to be able to get management schedules, for example, unpaid cash schedule over 4 days old. So let's check off under the office list, let's check off management schedules. Now if we go down to the authorized accounts, well, we said John works for our store called GMK. So we'll certainly check off GMK parts. But because we want him to be able to get the management schedule alerts as well, he'll need to be checked off for accounting. Likewise, there's no need to not check off GMK service because repair orders are classified as a service type document. In order to review the repair orders, he'll have to belong to GMK service as well. So he belongs to all three like color-coded groups. We'll continue to the destination page where we will add his email address. And let's say he is johns@gmk.com. And there's a checkbox underneath the send welcome email parameter here. So when I click add, John is going to receive an email that says welcome to DealerAlert. Here's your username. Here's your password. This is what the system's about. And if you have questions, contact, and then whatever name you've got listed as your primary contact for DealerAlert in another section. Also, there's another video that goes through the destination parameters in more detail. So for purposes of this video, we're done with this screen. Now we've added John to the system, and you'll see that he is now in the list. John Smith is now here. It's great, he's in the system, but now we want to make sure he's assigned to the alerts that we want him assigned to. Now, by default, new users are always assigned to the first alert instance of each alert. So, for example, we choose John from the drop-down list here, and then we notice that certain departments are available for us to click on. Other ones are grayed out. So under parts, if we expand our tree, we'll notice that John is checked off for the first instance in every one of these. So always just the first one. So you need to go through and make sure that John, maybe you don't want him on this alert, but you want him on that one, or maybe both. And John's hot button is he hates freight being removed from ROs, so we want to make sure that one is checked off, and so forth. So you want to go through and expand your tree for each one of these and make sure that he's checked off for the things that you want him checked off for. Also, you notice under Office, only the management schedule alert is available for us to modify, because that was the only group we put him in. And he is checked off for the unpaid cash sales, so that's all set by default. So we're going to go ahead and make sure you click Save. Some people forget to click Save on the screen, and you have to do that, otherwise John was not assigned to those alerts. And that is setting up a user in a nutshell.